This video is going to get you from being like this with only 22% accuracy to this at 27% accuracy. Now, all we've used is a few simple attachments that will work on any LMG in Modern Warfare 2, and we are going to show you what those attachments are right now. So we are going to kick this off with the SAKIN MG38. Now, before I select the under barrel, remember to subscribe to the channel to help us reach our goal of 50,000 subscribers. Now, I have chosen to go for the FTAC Ripper, and this is going to improve overall accuracy. That's the main thing that we're looking to improve here when we select this. So overall, it does improve your aim idle stability, it improves your hipfire accuracy, and it also improves overall recoil stabilization. Now, you do get that con to the ADS time, but this will get ironed out with the rest of the build. Moving on from the under barrel, we're going to choose our muzzle here, and we're going to select the TY LR8. Now, this attachment improves your horizontal recoil control, so again, it improves your accuracy, but you do take another hit to your aim down sight time. Now, from the muzzle, we're going to choose a laser, and we're going to choose the FSS OLE laser, and this is going to improve the aim down sight time, so it's going to bring some of that back. It's going to improve the aim of stability, again bringing that back, and it's going to increase your sprint to fire time, which is actually quite important in multiplayer, as you're going to need to get your shots off quickly when you need to. The laser is visible when you're aiming down sight. That's not a big deal with this build. It's not really a big deal in multiplayer at all. Now, with this LMG, I like to choose an optic, and the one that I tend to go for is the Cronin Mini Pro. Now, you can use whatever one you like. I just think that was the cleanest, and I also choose a stock as well. I choose the FTAC Condor stock as well, and that improves the recoil control further. It does also take, again, another hit to your ADS, but I do think it's balanced out well by that laser that was applied before. So, hopping into the range with this one, you can see that it's quite easy to get shots off with this gun, although it's pretty difficult for the movement speed. You do get a really good clip size, as with all LMGs. Now, we are going to look at the HCR-56. Now, for the under barrel, we're going to choose the FTAC Ripper again, and this is going to improve your aiming idle stability, your hipfire accuracy, and recoil stabilization as before. We're then going to look at the muzzle, and for this we're going to choose the Komodo Heavy. Now, this is going to improve your horizontal recoil control. You're going to take a little bit of a hit to your aim down sight time, but this will be balanced out with the rest of the build. Next, we're going to choose the barrel, and we're going to choose the 18-inch Brune Gorilla. This is going to improve your hip fire recoil control, it's going to improve your overall recoil control, and it's going to add back that aim down sight time again. Then you want to select a laser, and for this one, you're going to select the VLK LZR 7mW laser, and this is going to improve your aim down sight speed even further. It's also going to improve your aim and stability, and it's going to improve your sprint to fire time as well. Finally, we want to choose an optic, and again, I always choose the Cronin Mini Pro. Again, you can choose whatever you like. So if we head back into the testing range, we'll see here that this gun is pretty accurate, it's quite good to use, and it's also got a lot better movement than the previous one. So if you're looking for something that's a lot more mobile as a LMG, then this might be the gun to choose. So we are now going to look at the 556 ICARUS, and we're going to start with the under barrel, where we'll choose the FTAC Ripper again. We're going to choose the muzzle as well, and we're going to choose the Komodo Heavy. And then we are going to choose the laser, and for this one we're going to use the FSS OLE V laser, and this is going to give you the aim down sight speed, the aim of stability, and sprint to fire speed as well. And again, it is visible when you aim down sight, but that is not a problem for us. For the optic, again, I'm using the Cronin Mini Pro, so that's pretty straightforward. And finally, for the stock, the only kind of major difference here with this one compared to other builds is that we're using the Demo Precision Elite Factory, and this is going to give you aim and stability and recoil control, so your movement does go down for using this, but your accuracy goes up for using it. So as you can see, we're back in the testing range again, and you can see here it's pretty easy to get shots off. It's not too difficult to, shoot in mid-range. If you're longer range, you might want to burst a little bit. And the clip size for this is actually very good. At 75 you have which is like a good middle of the road for an LMG as well. So now we're going to be covering the RAPP H. Now for the RAPP H, we're going to choose the underbarrel as the F-Tac Ripper again. We're going to be using the same muzzle as before, which is a TY-LR8 as well, so we'll be selecting that. For the laser, we're going to choose the same laser as before, which is the FSS OLE V laser. And for the optic, we're going to choose the Cronin Mini Pro again. And then for this build, this is where this changes. So we're going to choose a rear grip instead, and this is where the build changes up a little bit from some of the previous ones we've done. So we're going to be choosing the Luchman TCG, and this is going to add some recoil control, but it's going to remove some aim instability, which is not really much of a big deal. And that is pretty much the build for the RAPP H. So we're back in the gun range with the RAPP H, and something you'll notice with this gun is it's extremely accurate. There's hardly any recoil whatsoever, which is really good. This is probably one of the better LMGs to be using for accuracy. So even at those longer distances, if you want to get shots off, you want to be using this gun for that. So for the RPK, we're going to choose the F-Tac Ripper again. We're going to choose the muzzle as the TY-LR8 again. We're going to choose the laser to be the FSS OLE V laser. We're going to choose the Cronin Mini Pro. And for the stock, this is where it changes. We're going to choose the heavy support stock. Now this is going to give you aim and stability. It's going to give you recoil control. There is a few cons here. So you get your aim walking speed, your sprint speed, your aim down sight speed, and your crouch movement speed. Pretty much everything related to movement gets taken away from you to some degree. So that is pretty much the build for the RPK. And we're back in the training ground with the RPK. As you can see here, the accuracy is pretty good. The damage is really good on this gun. The only issue you kind of tend to have is that the ADS time is a little bit slow, and also the movement's a little bit slow, but this is managed as best it can be with the build that we have chosen. Finally, we are going to be covering the RAAL MG. Now for the underbarrel, we're going to select the very first one, which gives you some aim walking steadiness, some aim idle stability, and recoil stabilization. For the cons, you do get some loss to your aim walking speed and your crouch movement speed. I would not suggest that you do either of those things if you're using an LMG anyway, so you're not really missing out on too much there at all. For the muzzle, you're going to be using the Cronin DM338, and that's going to improve your horizontal recoil control, but you do lose out on some of your aim down sight speed and aim and stability. That's just something we're going to have to live with. Then for the barrel, we are going to be using the EXF16 barrel, and that's going to give you some recoil control, hipfire recoil control, and also some bullet velocity. You do lose out on your damage range. Again, that's not a big deal with multiplayer, just because the maps are pretty small. You really don't need to care about that much. For the movement speed, you do lose out a little bit on that, and that is a big con for having an LMG. You want to be as mobile as possible, and then you lose out on your hipfire accuracy. Again, I don't suggest hipfiring with an LMG unless you absolutely have to. And then finally, we're going to be choosing the FSS OLE V laser, just the same standard laser we've been using. And then for the optic, I use the Cronin Mini Pro, and that is pretty much our build for the RAAL MG. Now we're in the testing ground with the RAAL, and you can see here that this gun is an absolute beast when it comes to being accurate. It's very good with its damage as well. The only issue you have with this gun is that it might be quite slow for its ADS times. It's kind of quite slow to move around with. So this is a really good weapon if you are a long distance player who wants to kind of gain vantage points and things, but it might not be as good a gun if you're going to be up close and personal a lot. So you want to weigh that out for yourself and see what works best. I hope this video helped. Remember to subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.